What's up, guys? I'm sure we all just saw Alex Dowsett's hour record attempt. I watched the whole thing. Very entertaining. Unfortunately, he didn't break the hour record, so I'm going to give my thoughts and see basically what's in store, in my opinion, for the hour record now that Alex has had his attempt. So a bit of a recap here. This is the live stream. The whole thing's on his YouTube channel. So he set off, and really he was kind of behind the pace almost from the beginning. I mean, if I skip through here, the first few laps, they have the green time counter thing. I think that's comparing to Campenaerts' record. So a few laps in, he was a little bit ahead of it. So he was sitting up on it for, what are we in here? 7 minutes in. So he was doing well. And then here we are, 10 minutes in, starts to hit the red. So basically, it looked like he was maybe ahead of time for about the first 10 minutes. And then it was a consistent, wasn't really a blow up. It was just a consistent drop in his splits. And that time started to creep out. I think most of us on the live stream were thinking, he's just negative splitting it. He's going to lift in the second half and start to eat it back. But at that point, never really came. Essentially, he just kept losing it. At one point, he actually stood up. I'll skip to that point in the effort. So at this stage, this is with about 8 minutes to go. He was sort of 20 seconds behind. His lap times, he was doing like 16.8 second laps. Actually, some laps were above 17 seconds. So just well off pace. And I'll play this through here. You can see I think he almost gave up here. We'll have a look through. He takes his hands off the bars, takes this corner out wide, head drops, and it looks like he almost went, fuck it. But then he stood up, got back in his rhythm, and then got back into base. But I think he must have. It was a split-second decision. I reckon if that went another way, he would have just stopped the attempt completely, because that was, to be, for someone like him, super into his aerodynamics, to be getting down in the base bar and standing up means he was probably almost certainly considering quitting at this stage. But an incredible effort. I mean, you could see the pain that he was putting himself through, especially when it's like that and you're not going to beat the record and your splits are dropping. That would just be absolute hell. But let's go to the interview he did at the end. Because I guess we need to figure out, did something go wrong, or was this just as good as he's got on the day for the aerodynamics he has and the power he has? Is this just what he's got? So let's have a listen through. I'll take it off mute.
But today was a success, because the other two targets was to see how far I could go, and 54.555 is as far as I can go. We chucked everything at this, both Chanel, myself, and the small team around us. It's been a lot of work to get to here.
Yeah, so he's saying that's what he's got. That's just what he's physically capable of at his potential with this amount of effort he put in. And actually, in terms of the hour record as a whole, obviously for him, he's probably a bit disappointed, but as I've said before, incredible effort. But what does this? I think this is actually good for the hour record, to have it level set that Victor Campenaerts set, where people are actually attempting it and failing. For a while there, it seemed like everyone that put the effort in to go in and do it was beating the record. Now, a lot of that is probably due to technological advancements. But I think the hour record's at a point now where it's not a given that you're going to break it. And even if you do put the effort in, as Dowsett's done in this attempt, that's not a given that you're going to get. And I think that makes it is a better thing for the hour record to have people unsure if they're going to break it or not. So what's next for the hour record? I guess there's two people that are probably next in line to have a crack, or that we think should have a crack. The first one being Dan Bigham. He broke the British hour record. His time he's sort of around the mark. So I think a lot of people are looking at him. Is he going to do a UCI verified attempt and have a crack at breaking it? Does he have the potential to do that? I think aerodynamically, yes, definitely. He could do it. And physically, does he have the physical capabilities? I guess for him, it might be a matter of, has he got the time to train, to do it full time, to put to bring the physiological preparation in line with the preparation that he's got aerodynamically. If he can do that, to find the time to get that specific training in, then I think he's probably got a pretty good shot at breaking it. The other one that a lot of people mentioned in the live stream was obviously Filippo Ganna. If he wants to do it and does do it, I'd say he's going to absolutely demolish it. So a bit of backyard maths I've done here. Dowsett said that the power he was sort of aiming for, or thought was possible on a good day, was about 350 watts. That seems a little low. if you're just like, oh, 350 watts isn't that much for him, but he's at altitude. So at Agua Calientes, where they did it, it's about 1,900 meters of altitude. And if we look here, so sort of working backwards, this is very rough, but just bear with me. So at between 6,000 and 7,000 feet of altitude, you'd be expecting around 8.5%, maybe 9% decline in aerobic power if you're acclimatized. So if we say 8.5% power decline, that would mean if he was aiming to do 350 watts, that in his aero position at sea level on the velodrome, he'd probably be able to do around 380, just based on that very roughly, which I think makes sense because I think on the road, in a road time trial, he can do sort of between 390, 400 watts. Now on the track, probably a bit more focused on aerodynamics and holding the position a bit stricter than he would in a road time trial, especially with a few climbs. 380 then makes a bit sense. So let's say 395 for an hour on the road, 380 on the track on the velodrome. Then at altitude, that drops down to 350 when you account for the losses. So if we look at Ganna, for example, what would he be doing in the hour record and what speed would he go? I reckon in a road time trial, he'd probably be doing, I think above 460, probably on the road, somewhere between 460 and 470 watts for an hour for Ganna at his size. If we drop that down a little bit and we just say, okay, on the track, on an hour record at sea level, if he did 460 watts for the hour, taking into account the decline in aerobic power at altitude, that gives us, taking off that 8.5%, that gives us around 420 watts he'd be doing at altitude on the track. And you can kind of see how crazy fast it's going to go. Like aerodynamically, if you compare Dowsett to Ganna, I mean, Ganna's a bigger rider. I think he's probably about 7 or 8 kilos heavier. So there'll be a bit more drag there, but not 70 watts worth, because then you'd be comparing Dowsett doing 350 watts on a good day versus Ganna potentially doing 420 watts. That's a massive difference. So we'll see Ganna likely smash it. The other advantage Ganna has got is that he can basically sit on the sidelines and wait until these technological advancements you got law of diminishing returns. The gains that some of these guys are talking about are like half watts, thirds of a watt, those sorts of things. So that's the sort of level it's at. So I think if Ganna waits another 6 months to a year, maybe Bingham has an attempt and uses his aerodynamic expertise to make improvements there, Ganna can kind of watch that, learn from that, and then have a crack. I mean, Ganna would have his own team with the Italian track team and things like that, but you can learn from others, especially on the track. All the technology is pretty much most of the technology you can see. You can see the chains, you can see the chain rings, tires, you can see all that stuff. You can see the fabrics in the skin suits, those sorts of things. The only things you can't really see would be like bearings and lubes and stuff like that, but you could guess some of those sorts of things. So essentially, Ganna has a big advantage by able to just sit on the sidelines. Maybe Bingham has an attempt, then Ganna can come out, take advantage of all those learnings from everyone else's attempts, and then just completely demolish everyone, is my prediction if he does prioritize it. But yeah, that's essentially what we've got in the pipeline for the hour record, in my opinion. It seems like Bingham and Ganna are probably the next two that may have a crack at it. So yeah, it was awesome to see Dowsett do that. Really entertaining, good for the sport and good for the hour record. Actually, I said this to some of the guys in the chat. We were chatting about it before, and I said, I'm not sure if he'll break it or not, but it would actually probably be better for the hour record if he doesn't break it, because it makes it more exciting in my opinion. So yeah, awesome from Alex. Well done, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.